Today's topic is 10 tools to make 2020 the year of well-being, health, and happiness. Hi, I'm Will Brennan, natural lifestyle expert and founder of Desert Mountain Apothecary. Thank you so much for joining me today, and today's topic is 10 tools to make 2020 the year of well-being, health, and happiness. Now, these following 10 tools don't cost any money or very little money, and almost anyone can do them. So here I'm not talking specifically about goals and resolutions. I'm talking about the tools and methods to actually make those goals and resolutions stick for the long term. So my vision for 2020 is to more deeply integrate natural lifestyle optimization into my life and spread awareness for these powerful tools that actually can transform lives. And unlike a lot of other goals and resolutions and regimens that you might have tried before, this is the one that will stick because it actually transforms you. These aren't just what you do, they become who you are. So get a pen and paper and write down these 10 incredibly powerful tools for well-being, joy, love, abundance, whatever it is that you feel like you're lacking, you're really not, and you can just do things slightly differently and get that end result that's always been eluding you until now. So let's get right into it. The number one tool for well-being in 2020 is deep, restful, restorative sleep. Now, I want everyone to think really hard and be aware of your sleep hygiene. Now, sleep hygiene is something that encompasses all of the activities that you do during, before, and after sleep. So a lot of people, even though they may be sleeping, they're not getting the highest quality sleep. So it's really important to make all of those sleep hours count. You want to think about when you're awake, you want to be as energized and focused as possible. And when it's time to rest, you want to fall asleep quickly and go into very deep sleep. That's because the most important healing, regeneration, and strengthening of our cells and tissues in our body happens when we're in a deep sleep. Now, every night we should be having about 3 REM cycles a night, but most people have fewer than that if they have any. This is really problematic, and over the long term, sleep deprivation can lead to many chronic diseases and eventually to death. That is the reason why we call the third shift the graveyard shift. People that work overnight have a much higher mortality rate. So you need to make sleep a priority. I have many videos on this channel for how to get a better sleep, and most importantly, how to keep technology from invading your sleep and bringing on insomnia. So please check out those videos because I go really in depth into this very important tool. So remember, sleep is the number one tool in your arsenal for creating health and well-being in 2020. Next up on our list is hydration. Now, it is critical to remain properly hydrated and avoid dehydration. Chronic dehydration, just like chronic sleep deprivation, leads very quickly to chronic disease and sometimes very painful diseases like kidney stones. On a completely superficial level, being dehydrated very quickly impacts our appearance. Skin very quickly gets a saggy and drawn look, and this is the reason why thirsty is such a potent insult in our American culture. So you may be becoming dehydrated for many reasons: drinking too many caffeinated beverages, drinking too much alcohol, medications, a poor diet, simply not drinking any or enough water. So this is something that everyone can do pretty easily, and a lot of people say that they don't like the taste of water. So if you do not like the taste of water coming out of your tap, I would suggest sending it to a lab and having it tested. There might be harmful chemicals or pollutants or something else in there that's making it taste bad. Think of Flint, Michigan or Newark, all those poor people with toxic lead coming through their pipes. You want to be aware of what's coming into your pipes, what you're showering with, what you're drinking. So if your water does not have any pollutants or chemicals that it's not supposed to, but it still tastes bad, I would still recommend filtering it. When water goes through an activated charcoal filter, it really improves the taste. And if still you do not like the taste of water, make uncaffeinated herbal tea with a nice flavor. Rose hips, hibiscus flowers, uncaffeinated green tea, ginger tea, citrus peels. All of these things will make your water taste nice without any caffeine. They only cost pennies per gallon to make, and you'll have the benefit of not only that deep hydration, but also the essential oils from the herbal tea. So there's no excuse not to be hydrated, and you'll find that when you feel so good being hydrated, you'll associate that good feeling with drinking water, and you will over time love drinking water. So stay hydrated and avoid chronic dehydration. That's our number 2 tool in the arsenal for health and well-being in 2020. Our number 3 tool for health and well-being in 2020 is to learn about nutrition, and specifically learn about a phenomenon called food addiction. Now, there's a really big misconception that there are fat people, and nothing could be further of the truth. There are no fat people. There are people who are suffering from food addiction. So when you call yourself a fat person, that's actually a command to your body, a command to your subconscious. And that's incredibly problematic when you are trying to be healthy, when you're trying to shed extra weight. That is reinforcing the idea that you can't lose weight. So rather than labeling yourself that, I want you to never label yourself a fat person again. You are a person who is experiencing food addiction. So research food addiction and understand and cultivate a greater awareness of what is really happening. Now, I'll explain very quickly. Food addiction is the feedback loop that is brought on when we overeat. When we overeat, we cause an insulin spike. This insulin spike then causes a neurotransmitter release. Happy neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin are released, and we get kind of like a numbing, slightly euphoric high almost. Now, we've all heard eating our feelings, drowning our sorrows in ice cream, pizza. I mean, we've all done that, clearly. And what happens is that over time, this becomes a feedback loop, and every time a person is having these feelings that they're trying to chase away with that insulin spike and neurotransmitter release, they're bringing it on again and again and again. Now, this is really the underpinnings of obesity. No doubt there are other health problems which affect obesity, but I would say that food addiction is the number 1 phenomenon that you need to understand if you're struggling to lose weight and can't. That's going to put a lot of things into perspective. And when you really cultivate an awareness for what those feelings and thought patterns are that you're trying to chase away, that's actually the first and biggest step to coming to terms with those feelings and really experiencing them. Because once you realize that, for example, you're eating because you're stressed, angry, depressed, once you realize that you can feel those feelings and it's not going to kill you, it's mildly unpleasant, but you don't need to stomp them out by overeating or anything else. When you finally stop trying to push those feelings away, they almost start to dissipate immediately, and what you were trying to keep at bay for so long can flow through your consciousness, and before you know it, you're seeing the back of them. So when you don't know how to eat well, when you don't know about food addiction, that's not your fault. You probably came from a home where people didn't have the time or the knowledge or the resources to eat healthy, to go to the organic grocery store and shop for fresh food every day or so. And that's not your fault, and that's not your parents' fault, but it's a blessing that you are in the place in life now where you can learn about nutrition. You can learn about what foods are good and bad for you, and you can actually tune into how your body feels when you eat certain foods. You're going to find that when you eat a salad, you feel amazing. When you eat junk food, you feel terrible. And that is your guide, the biofeedback. You're tuning into your own feelings, you're learning, you're filling in the knowledge gaps that you didn't have before, and you're cutting the feedback loop of food addiction. And that is going to break you free from the chains of obesity, because you deserve to live a life without endless suffering. And I'll tell you, people seem to think that it's hard to diet, that it's hard to exercise, it's hard to be hungry. I want to ask you, is it easy to feel bad about yourself? Is it easy to not fit into the nice clothes you bought for yourself? Is it easy to have joint pain, to feel bad, to have low energy? Is it easy not to be able to get down on the floor and play with your children or grandchildren? Is it easy to sit at home because you're embarrassed of the way you look and you become disconnected? And is it easy to feel bad about yourself, full stop? No, it's not. It is so much easier to be hungry for a couple hours a day and burn off those extra calories. It's easy and feels amazing to move and exercise. So cast out all of those preconceived notions, and I want you to know that health and well-being is 100% available to you. Next up, number 4 in our tools for creating health and well-being in 2020 is to exercise regularly. Many of us have a preconceived notion that exercise is awful, that it's something that is a punishment. That's especially insidious, is that you feel like you need to punish yourself for the crime of being overweight. And I can tell you, this is not a good way to get yourself to do anything. The only thing that is good for is demotivating yourself, and that's because preconceived notions and thought patterns like that are actually shame-based. So if you can kind of see it from the big picture, you feel like you've done something bad and you're trying to shame yourself into doing something different as a punishment for that transgression, and this is going to sap your motivation. And the reason is because it's going to make you feel worse about yourself. So for someone that says that they don't like exercise, try different ones and also expand your definition of exercise. Call it movement, call it play. If you have a negative association with the word exercise, call it something else, call it movement. And movement can be cleaning your home, gardening, walking. It could be playing a team sport. Maybe there's a fun sport that you loved to play when you were younger, whether it was soccer or basketball or tennis, and you can play that now, and that's going to be much more fun for going to the gym, and that is actually going to give you a much better workout because you'll get much more into it because it's a group social activity. And when you're playing a game, you really buy into the idea that you want to win, and you're much more likely to go beyond your previous endurance or sensation limits to get there. So expand your definition of exercise, but also give up all preconceived notions of exercise. So if you have never ever exercised before, or not, you haven't in a long time, I want to caution you, don't go into a very extreme, advanced type of exercise from zero. For example, CrossFit is obviously a very beneficial exercise to some people. The results they're getting are really over the top, but I want to caution you to not start with something like that, because that can lead to injury, overuse injury, and a phenomenon called rhabdosis, where muscle cells tissue is exerted to the point that it actually breaks down and dies and can cause death. So my suggestion for someone that's never exercised before is to start walking. Now, you don't need any equipment, you don't need to join a gym, you just need comfortable walking shoes and a safe place to do it. And you can do a little bit more every day. You can take several small walks during the day, but you're going to feel amazing just to start moving. And also start stretching. There are loads of stretching tutorials on YouTube, so find a beginner's gentle stretching regimen. You are going to feel so good, and then from there, maybe you do want to start going to the gym, maybe you do want to start taking classes, but don't go beyond your limits. Learn what they are first, and then you can slowly, over time, build greater and greater strength and endurance. And lastly, I want you, if you are a person that hates going to the gym because you feel like everyone is judging you, that is all in your head. That is pure projection. And I want to tell you something. If you go to the gym and you're an overweight person and people are nasty to you and they give you a stank face just for walking in, I want you to know that no happy, fulfilled person would ever do that. And you know what? One nasty person in the gym might be judging you, but everyone else is cheering you on. Everyone else is so proud of you for being there. And everyone else, I promise you, will be happy to fill in any knowledge gaps you have, and will be happy to show you any equipment, because they were probably where you were once, and they're so proud of you for making a change. And I'll tell you, people say that they're afraid of going to the gym because of the big muscle guys and the really fit people. They know how to work out. They have a huge body of knowledge for fitness, and I'm sure they would be happy to share it with you and happy to share encouragement. And I'll tell you, the bigger and scarier the guy, probably the sweeter of a person is inside there. And you will be so surprised when you just shed those preconceived notions and branch out a little bit. You'll be so rewarded. So our next incredibly powerful tool for well-being and health in 2020 is to stop poisoning yourself, your family, and your pets with toxic, chemical, carcinogenic cosmetics, fragrances, soaps, household cleaners, detergents. There is a natural version of all of that. Natural products have come so far in the last 15-20 years. It is not difficult to make the switch. I came up with Desert Mountain Apothecary so I could create an affordable, effective, and 100% natural way for people to get beautiful skin, and from products that were actually good for them. There's no longer any reason that you have to choose between putting chemicals on your skin that your body can't help but absorb and having beautiful skin, hair, whatever. It is just a different age, and there is no reason to be bombarding your body with chemicals that your body cannot metabolize. So I want you to look at every single label of every product that you bring in through the threshold of your home, and if you don't understand a word or an ingredient, I want you to look it up, and you'll be horrified, and you will not want that anymore. God forbid one of your children takes a spray bottle of some cleaner and puts it in their mouth because you know they do it. What is that cleaner going to be? Is it going to be a little diluted vinegar that tastes bad but won't kill them? Or is it going to be ammonia and bleach and you need to be going to the emergency room before your child dies? What then? You will wish that you had natural cleaners on that day. You'll wish that you had natural cleaners if your puppy or your kitten gets into some toxic product and has to go to the vet and has chemical burn all over their body or dies. The stakes are high. We think just because these things are familiar and ubiquitous that they're harmless, and that's not true. So switch to natural skincare. natural fragrance, natural household cleaners and soaps today. Over time, your life, your family's life, your pet's life could depend on it. Number 6 in our list of 10 tools for health and well-being in 2020 is using routines to make those lifestyle changes easy. Now, we have two things, willpower and decision making, and those are muscles. They're mental, cognitive muscles. Just like our physical muscles, there is a limit to how much we can strain them or use them in a 24-hour period, and then we need to rest them again. So for example, if you're using up all your willpower to try to make these lifestyle changes, you might not have enough willpower to get through your entire day. And so that muscle is fatigued and you don't have it when you really need it. I really need willpower at 10 p.m., not at noon. So routines take away the willpower fatigue and the decision-making fatigue, and they put all of these good habits on autopilot. So for example, I have a morning routine. I do it every single day. That routine encompasses things that were formerly difficult for me to do. Taking the one supplement and the allergy pill that I take in the morning, doing the most basic housekeeping tasks to keep the house ticking along, stretching, using a massage roller, and doing a meditation first thing in the morning. It sets me up for an amazing day, and as we all know, sometimes our days just drift away from us, and if we start off with that good foundation, we're ready, because sometimes the day just goes left and someone needs us and we have to leave the house. We have to go at a moment's notice and help someone, go to the hospital, take someone to the doctor. Things pop up all the time, and by having a great routine in the morning, you can be ready and you can be there and you can serve at your highest level, and that takes the stress of the day way down, because you're not always thinking, oh, I have to exert my willpower to do this and I have to make a decision to do this. No. You're not doing that anymore. You're not sapping that willpower muscle. You're not sapping that decision-making muscle. So for example, I have a morning routine. I do those couple of things that set up my day. I have a weekly housekeeping routine. I pretty much do touch on one room a day, and in 7 days the whole house gets done, and that makes it easy. That makes it, and I have a workout routine. I hit all the muscle groups and have 2 full rest days in a 7-day period. I have meal planning and eating routine, where on the weekends I have whatever I want junk food wise, and during the week I eat plant-based paleo and Mediterranean and anti-inflammatory foods. And so there's this routine, and just like with nature, there is a rhythm and a routine to everything. The sun comes up, we have a productive day, the sun goes down, we have a restorative night, there are 4 seasons. And the more we get into the rhythm and tune into that rhythm, the more we have a synergy and a harmony. And before you know it, instead of all these different efforts being cross purposes, we're in the flow and things are just going, and things that were difficult are now easy. Health and well-being were elusive and now they're inevitable. So I want you to really think about your routines. We all probably have one, but if you're unaware, maybe it's a bad routine. Maybe it's setting you up for a bad day. And when you have awareness, then you can change it. So I personally follow the Fly Lady routine. And the Fly Lady is a username that a woman named Marla in the Great Smoky Mountains of North Carolina created when she was digging herself out of mental illness and divorce and being a hoarder. So she actually came up with this powerful lifestyle routine that anyone can follow, whether you're a new parent, whether you're retired, whether you're a college student, it doesn't matter. It's one size fits all. Dorm room to a manor house, it is applicable to everyone. So please look up the Fly Lady, and I want to say, especially to men, the whole Fly Lady thing is referring to herself. It was a username for an online chat forum 20 years ago, and this was her username. So because she was a professional fly fisherwoman. So the irony of this is that although lady is in the title, this is going to be most beneficial to men more than anyone because we typically didn't have these routines installed in us when we were children in the home, whereas women were more likely to be taught by their mothers how to do these routines to keep everything going, because women are usually the CEO of the family that keeps everything going, but not anymore. So if a man is the CEO of a family, he may not have the base knowledge that a woman has, and it may be a lot harder for him. And this is why, even though it's called the Fly Lady system, every man should also look into it. So don't be afraid of the pink writing and the word lady, because this is going to be just as transformative for you as a man as any woman. Number 7 of our tools to create health and well-being in 2020 is to organize and declutter your home a little bit every day. I'm talking 5, 10, 15 minutes every day, but consistently. This is going to transform your space. And you really might need to transform your space. Our space, whether it's our home, our office, whatever it is that's the space under our control, is one of the most direct reflections of our inner psychological world. So look around at your space right now. What does it look like? Chaotic? Out of control? Messy? Disorganized? You may not realize it, but your space could be causing more stress and more unhappiness in your life than you realize. One of the most insidious things about depression is that we almost very quickly stop doing things that keep everything going. Grooming, bathing, getting dressed up nicely, keeping our house ticking along, putting things away, and it doesn't take long for an entire house to just completely be in disarray, and then that takes on its whole other downward spiral of the way we feel. So by doing a little bit every day, this keeps it from being like this impossible mountain that you feel like you can't climb. You're just jumping over a very low bar every day, and things come into the house every day, so we should declutter every day. And this is a prime chance for you to bless other people with what you're no longer using. So try to do things try to declutter going forward. For example, in November, I decluttered my Christmas ornaments so that the donated Christmas ornaments could be used for this last Christmas by a needy family. When you're going into fall, declutter your coats and jackets and mittens and scarves before it's fall so that someone can be kept warm in the winter. And going into spring, do you have your children's Easter clothes? Do you have Easter ornaments? Try to do it so that someone can use it this year. Bless someone now. Don't give things to the thrift stores after they needed them and don't want them anymore. So this way, you're taking the static things in your home. Yes, maybe you spent money on them. That money is gone. Anyone who's tried to sell used things will tell you you do not get a lot of money for it, and it is a lot of hassle. You're so much better off donating. So I want you to take every opportunity you have to bless and uplift others. And you might say, what does this have to do with losing weight or being fit or eating better? And I'm here to tell you, when you feel good about yourself, those things are easy because you love yourself. And it's easy to do the right things for yourself, and it's easy to listen to your body's feedback and your inner voice, and it will tell you what it wants. Number 8 from our tools for health and well-being is to learn to meditate. Now, I was resistant for so long to meditating, and it never clicked to me. But a couple of years ago, I really tried in earnest. I found some great people on YouTube that make audio recordings. And I've never been to a hypnotherapist. I've never had a one-on-one session, but I can tell you my mind has really been healed and rewired by meditation. And I can say this has been the biggest and most lasting change in my life. And I want to share that with absolutely everyone because it is available to you. You can just do audio recordings on YouTube and not even spend any money and have a transformational change. Now, the way meditation works is that it actually communicates with your subconscious mind. Our conscious mind is like the tip of an iceberg, and our subconscious mind is the huge mass below the surface that we can't see. That's really the limit of traditional therapy, is reaching the subconscious mind. It's really only communicating with the conscious mind. And something interesting is that most people who are struggling in some way, they can tell you exactly why, what from, when it started, and what they should do differently to move on from that. It's uncanny. So if understanding that were enough to change most people would be changed. It's a really rare person that is genuinely, completely unaware of their setbacks and their difficulties. But through hypnosis, meditation hypnosis kind of overlap. When you're going into a deeply meditative state, that is a hypnotic state. And we actually go into hypnotic states several times a day. We don't even realize it. And the most common is driving. If you ever feel like you've taken a really familiar route and you get lost in thought and you're already there and you can't quite remember taking all those turns, that's a hypnotic state. So it's actually not unfamiliar at all. So I want you to start making meditation familiar. Start doing it. Start with 10-minute meditations. Just start with some awareness meditations and have no preconceived notion of what it will be. Do not feel like you need to get an end result. It'll take a couple months to start feeling some results, start feeling better, and it'll take about 6 months to really feel a big change. And in 9 months and a year, you will feel like your brain has been rewired. It is uncanny. So do not be remiss. If you are trying to make any changes, make sure you start a meditation practice. That might be the most important thing that you ever do for yourself. Number 9 from our tools for creating health and well-being in 2020 is to create health, happiness, and love from within with wonderful, loving praise and positive self-talk. You need to know that you are enough. This is what you need to basically write on all your mirrors. You need to tattoo this on the inside of your eyelids and look at it when your eyes are closed. You are enough. Not you are enough because. Not you are enough despite. No. Just those 3 simple words. The power of those words is in its simplicity. Your mind knows that it's true, and no one else is going to tell you. And you need to tell yourself, because your words, your praise are the most important words you'll ever hear, and your criticism will wither you away just as much as your praise will lift you up and increase your spirit. So I want you to tell yourself over and over and over and over, because our mind loves repetition. Tell yourself all throughout the day, I am enough, I am enough, I am enough, I am enough. And make sure you're praising yourself. Self-praise is one of the most important tools you can ever give for yourself, because in this day and age, I bet you most people are not getting a lot of unsolicited praise. And when they do get praise, a lot of times it's probably from people that are trying to manipulate us. Like if your boss comes to you at 5 or 6 p.m. on a Friday and says, oh, you are just a rock star. You are just hitting it out of the park, and I am so proud of everything you do. And by the way, can you have this gigantic report done by Monday morning? I know you were going skiing, but can you, because you're such a rock star, can you stay in the office until Monday morning and do this? We've all been there. That means nothing to our mind. It just means that we're aware that someone's manipulating us and we can't go skiing. So when you tell yourself, I'm so good at my job, I am really, really good at what I do, I put so much of my love and my focus and my attention and my energy into what I do, and I get great results for my client, your brain knows that you don't have any agenda, so it just sinks right in. It's just like lip balm. You put lip balm on your lips and it just goes right in. Number 10, Our last tool for creating health and well-being in 2020 is a great cognitive tool, and this is telling yourself that whatever changes you're making a choice to make it and you like it. So for example, you don't like exercise. You do like exercise, but you have a cognitive distortion in your mind that says you don't. So you're going to change that today. You're going to start telling your mind over and over and over, say it out loud, write it out longhand, I like exercise and I'm choosing to do it. Think about people that run triathlons or do those crazy mud runs. You know, you and I might be looking at them thinking, oh my God, that is just suffering. They're just punishing themselves and they're just miserable doing that. But if you see them, they're smiling. They love it. They've been training for those events for years and they are having the time of their lives. Their endorphins are going, all their happy neurotransmitters are on full and they are just euphoric. So why can you not be that euphoric when you're exercising? No reason. You can. You can. Those people tell themselves, I love running through the mud. I love doing a triathlon. So you can tell yourself, I love taking a walk. I love going to the gym. The gym is my happy place and I'm choosing to go there. And you'll find that your mind tunes right into it because your mind is just waiting for a command. And you may only have given them unaware and you may only have given negative commands. But now that you're in control, now that you're taking charge of your mental field of consciousness, you can tell your mind exactly what it likes to do because you are making the choice now. So that's a really, really powerful tool. I'm making a choice to do X and I like X. So don't do it the hard way. Don't exert all your willpower. Don't exert all your decision-making power and just miserably slog through every day, forcing yourself to do things. Do everything with joy and inspiration. Go to the gym with a smile on your face. Make some friends. Chit-chat to people. Make your meals with joy. Eat your salad with joy, because when you have that salad and you feel so good afterwards, that is what your mind is going to tune more and more and more into. Thank you so much for joining me for these 10 powerful transformational tools for health and well-being in 2020. So let's do a quick recap. Number 1, go to bed early, get regular, deep, restful, restorative sleep. 2, stay hydrated and avoid chronic dehydration. 3, learn about nutrition and food addiction and observe your own eating habits. Eat natural, light, and primarily plant-based food in small portions. Meal planning will make this affordable and easy. Number 4, exercise regularly and find the joy in loving movement. 5, use natural cosmetics, fragrances, and cleaners and banish toxic carcinogenic chemicals from your home once and for all. 6, keep a lifestyle routine that puts good habits on autopilot. Morning, evening, weekly, and even monthly routines make the impossible possible. Number 7, declutter and organize a little bit every day. Make your home a positive reflection of your inner world, and I promise you, your inner world will improve. 8, meditate. Heal and rewire your brain through hypnosis and meditation. 9, create health, happiness, and love from within with wonderful loving thoughts and positive self-talk. Know in your deepest soul that you are enough, you always have been, and you always will be. Number 10, Make a conscious choice to break through the discomfort of the unfamiliar and adopt new habits that become who you are, not just what you do. So remember, say, I'm making a choice to do X and I love X. So I want to thank you so much for watching this video and spending this time with me. And I want you to know that when you heal yourself, you heal the world. You heal everyone around you. So a lot of people might think, well, I'm starting this new chapter, so I want to share this with everyone in my family, all my friends, and I want to actually caution you against that. First of all, people don't like to be dictated to. In my experience, people only change and transform when they want to, on their own time, and for their own reasons. And if you do want to introduce a better tone in the household, better health, better eating habits and everything, model your success. You transform, you change, and then everyone will see what you're doing. If you try to get everyone else in your family to get on your routine and your regimen, they're going to push back and they're going to try to pull you down rather than uplift you. But if you uplift yourself, they're going to naturally take on what makes sense to them, and if they want to, they can ask you questions. So I feel like unsolicited advice is one of the worst habits that any of us indulge in, and I have actually heard a really interesting theory that unsolicited advice is a form of verbal abuse. And I thought, wow, that's kind of true, because really it's useless. Anytime that someone gives you advice that you're not ready to hear, you just shrug it off because you won't take it in. But when someone comes to you and they say, gee, I've really noticed a change in you. You've shed some weight, you seem happier, you lost those dark circles under your eyes, your skin is glowing. What did you do? Then they're 100% receptive and ready for you to share what you think is going to help them. I want to thank each and every person for watching this. I'm Will Brennan, natural lifestyle expert and founder of Desert Mountain Apothecary, and I want to wish each and every one of you an abundant, joyful, loving 2020.